taken a direction here.
Yeah.
No.
So, you loved this book as a child, Wes. It was the first book you'd ever read, or you remember owning. That's what you've been telling the press, anyway.
Yes, you read that? Yes, that's one of the things I say. I mean, I think it's very possibly true. I know that I do remember getting it. I was thinking go to a clip.
Okay.
Do you mind if I slide my bedroll slightly out from under the train set? It's hard to sleep in that corkscrew position.
There's a lot of attitudes going on around here. Don't let me get one.
No, it's only just that my spinal cord is getting...
Sleep wherever you want, man. Here, take my bed. I'll just, I'll crawl under the bookcase. Who cares if I get splinters in my ears?
Never mind.
Oh, you gonna pout about it? Because I've had it up to here with the sad house guest routine.
Good night.
You know, that's something that we could bring up. Those characters are not in the book. Do you remember where they came from? Or, I mean, I'm just trying to provoke dialogue.
Why one of them is named Christofferson?
Yes. Because I don't.
I don't either.
So,
I mean, I remember... Yeah, he doesn't have kids in the book.
He has kids. He has several.
Oh yeah,
cubs.
my darlings. Yes,
my
yeah,
darlings.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't have individual names or identities, but there's a group of children, and
right.
we made a choice to
have an only child, and have a
visiting cousin named Christofferson.
Right.
Yes. I'm not sure what the process was.
No, I don't remember.
No. I know, I mean, definitely Christofferson is a reference to Chris Christofferson, if anyone's wondering that.
Right.
I don't know exactly why.
For no reason, just that we like Chris Christofferson.
I think there's something very positive about that name.
Yeah. Well, there was also, and it also used to be just, you could just have it on like A Star Is Born. It'd be like Streisand, Christofferson. It just sounds strong. Great.
Yes,
yeah.
It would work well in life.
And the first record's called Christofferson, isn't it?
Is it?
I think his first record.
Is that the one that's in Taxi Driver?
I don't know. Oh, the one he gets for her.
The one he gets for her.
That's a good question. I can't remember if he gets her the first one or if he gets her one of the ones after.
I know it's the one where he says, partly truth, partly fiction, a walking contradiction.
Right. I think it must be the first one then.
Yeah.
The first one is a classic. It's a great record.
Well, I was having this conversation with someone the other day about how Taxi Driver it really hits a nerve. I don't know if it's more with men than women, but people who are around men, our peers, many of them, I feel like Taxi Driver is very beloved.
Yeah. Do you fall into that? I mean, do you feel like you love it?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, it's one of those movies where Owen and I just could sort of communicate via lines from Taxi Driver over the course of a day. That's an awful thing to have to admit.
Yeah.
But for some reason, but I don't know what it. But what's a film? If that one didn't, I felt like Taxi Driver and Drugstore Cowboy for a period of time were two of the key things.
Well, wasn't the early Bottle Rocket ideas were more in that vein, right? I mean, or more in a kind of mean streetsy.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, yeah. It is that thing where whatever the thing you're working on that's the thing you're most interested in. Anything related to that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I definitely feel that way about Taxi Driver. Well, what else? I saw Taxi Driver again recently, and I was thinking, for a movie that is such a classic, it's totally crazy. I mean, in the greatest way. Like it's maybe one of the craziest classic movies. You know, that would make like the IMDb list. You know.
Yes.
Like next to Shawshank and other classics.
Yes, not as high as Shawshank.
No, not as high.
But also, that movie was a hit. I think Taxi Driver, in today's dollars, I think Taxi Driver is like a movie that made $120 million or something.
Really?
Well, it made like 40 or something.
And now it'd be like, there would be, Think Film would be putting it out.
Yes.
If they still are around.
Are they not? Well, what are some films that you think of as your? Is this too broad of a question? Or should we?
No, go ahead. What are you going to say?
Some of your key movies, probably ones we've probably discussed them.
Right. Well, we share a lot of them, but I feel like but there's that thing about movies that you sort of depends when you saw them. And I was talking about like with Bond films with somebody the other day, because I saw The Spy Who Loved Me at the perfect time. And I bought the car that went underwater. Yeah, you had that.
I know the one.
Yeah, and because you could also get the Aston Martin that ejected the guy from Goldfinger.
But that would probably be a sort of rusted with the paint coming off, and this you got new.
I got this one new. Yeah. And I always thought that the guy who ejected was James Bond, but of course it's not. He's driving because it would make sense to eject the other guy, not to throw yourself out of the car. Yeah. But I think I see that with people with Woody Allen movies and with Bond movies. It's like there are ones, depending on when you lived, you have that feeling of like, oh, they jumped the shark at this point. And then for other people who are younger or older, it's a different group of them.
Yeah.
Because Spy Who Loved Me, I don't know if that's a great one or not.
I mean, that's not one that gets revisited as much.
No.
And certainly I grew up thinking Roger Moore was the best Bond. That was what it was only at a certain point that I picked up on Sean Connery's supposed to be better. And then,
Yeah. I knew Sean Connery. I went around saying Sean Connery's better, having not seen any of the Sean Connery. And then when I saw them, I was kind of surprised, and it was harder because he wore like a hat in Dr. No, which was weird.
Not part of the look at all.
No, it was not how I imagined Bond.